It was one of those biting cold nights in New York City, where the wind cuts through every layer of clothing, leaving a chill that seeps straight into your bones. The streets were alive with the usual chaos: cars honking, neon signs reflecting off rain-slicked pavement, and the sound of hurried footsteps echoing off towering skyscrapers. The bitter cold didn't seem to slow anyone down. People were rushing from office buildings to subway stations, heads down, eyes glued to their phones, lost in their own worlds. But not everyone blended into the crowd that night. Keanu Reeves walked quietly among the sea of strangers, wearing a simple black coat, a knitted beanie pulled low over his head. To most, he was just another man navigating the cold city streets. That's how Keanu liked it. No cameras flashing, no fans stopping him for autographs, just the anonymity that only a place like New York could offer. He wasn't out here for work, fame, or any particular reason. Sometimes he just needed to breathe, to think, to disappear into the rhythm of the city. But then, something made him stop. On the corner of a quiet, dimly lit street near a diner, he noticed a man hunched against the side of a building. His clothes were worn and torn, barely enough to keep out the cold. His head was bowed low, face hidden beneath a hood, and beside him was a battered cardboard sign. The shaky handwriting read, "Lost everything. Just trying to survive. Anything helps." Most people didn't look twice. They walked past, pretending not to see. But Keanu? He couldn't just ignore it. Something about the man's stillness, the way he sat there, like the world had already forgotten him, hit Keanu harder than he expected. Without thinking, he slowed his pace, his gaze fixed on the stranger. He knelt down slowly, careful not to startle him. "Hey, man," Keanu said gently, his voice cutting through the noise of the city like a warm blanket. "You okay?" The man lifted his head just enough to reveal his face. His eyes were tired. No, beyond tired. They were eyes that had seen too much hardship, carrying the weight of survival on the cold, unforgiving streets. "What's your name?" Keanu asked softly. The man hesitated, then let out a weak breath. "Michael." "Nice to meet you, Michael," Keanu said, offering a sincere smile. "How long you been out here?" Michael rubbed his hands together, trying to shake off the cold. "Over a year now. Lost my job last winter. Thought I'd bounce back quick, you know? But then rent fell behind, got evicted, one thing after another, and here I am." Keanu nodded, listening intently. There was no judgment in his eyes, only understanding. He sat down on the pavement next to Michael, not caring about the chill of the concrete beneath him. "You eaten today?" Michael shook his head slowly, barely meeting Keanu's eyes. "Not since yesterday." Without hesitation, Keanu stood up. "Stay here, I'll be right back." He headed straight into the nearby diner, ordered a hot meal, a burger, fries, and a large cup of steaming coffee, and paid extra to get it served quickly. As he waited, Keanu pulled out his phone. "Hey Marcus, yeah, it's me. Listen, I need a favor. Find me a warm place tonight for someone who needs it. Get a doctor too, just a quick checkup. Urgent." Minutes later, Keanu returned to Michael, carefully balancing the tray of food. "Here you go," he said, handing it over. "Eat up, man, you need this." Michael's hands trembled as he took the food. He hesitated before taking his first bite, almost like he couldn't believe it was real. "Why are you doing this?" Michael asked, voice cracking from both cold and disbelief. Keanu sat back down next to him. "Because I can," he said simply, "and because you deserve better than this." As Michael slowly ate, Keanu stayed by his side. They talked about life, about regrets, about the unfair turns fate can sometimes take, and for the first time in months, Michael wasn't invisible. Someone saw him, really saw him. About 20 minutes later, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb. Keanu stood and gently placed a hand on Michael's shoulder. "Come on, man, let's get you somewhere warm." Michael looked up, his voice shaking. "Why? Why me?" Keanu met his eyes, full of sincerity. "Because nobody else did." The door to the SUV swung open, and without another word, Keanu helped Michael into the vehicle. The warmth of the car was almost overwhelming after so many cold nights spent outside. Michael couldn't stop shaking. This time, not from the cold, but from the disbelief that someone actually cared. The journey wasn't over yet. It was just beginning. The SUV rolled to a gentle stop in front of an elegant, towering hotel in the heart of Manhattan. The building was bathed in warm golden light, its glass doors shining under the glow of the chandeliered entrance. The contrast was overwhelming. The cold, forgotten darkness of the streets versus this beacon of warmth and comfort. Michael stared at the grand entrance, his heart racing. "I don't belong here," he whispered, voice breaking. Keanu placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "You belong somewhere safe, Michael. Somewhere warm. Everyone deserves that." The doorman opened the door without hesitation, offering a polite nod. The staff had already been briefed by Keanu's assistant, and they were prepared for Michael's arrival as if he were a VIP guest. Michael stepped inside cautiously, his worn shoes clicking softly against the marble floor. The hotel lobby was magnificent. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceilings, plush armchairs lined the waiting area, and the scent of fresh flowers filled the air. The world outside felt 1,000 miles away. The receptionist greeted them with a kind smile. "We've prepared a room for Mr. Michael," she said warmly. Michael swallowed hard, still overwhelmed by the sheer generosity unfolding around him. I don't deserve this," he murmured. "Yes, you do," Keanu said firmly. "Everyone deserves a second chance." They took the elevator up to a spacious suite on the top floor. As the door opened, Michael took a hesitant step inside. There was a large bed with crisp white sheets, a cozy sofa, a flat-screen TV, and a view of the sparkling city skyline. Keanu pointed to the bathroom. "There's a hot shower waiting for you, fresh clothes too. Take your time." After what felt like hours, Michael emerged from the bathroom, looking like a new man. The layers of dirt and exhaustion had been washed away. He wore clean, simple clothes provided by the hotel. Nothing fancy, but they fit well and were comfortable. His hair was combed, and his face, though still marked by hardship, looked healthier and more alive. Keanu was waiting for him with a gentle smile. "You look good, man." Michael nodded shyly. "I can't thank you enough for this. I don't even have the words." "You don't need to thank me," Keanu said. "Just focus on getting better." Later that night, a doctor arrived for a checkup, providing medication for Michael's ailments and advice on how to regain his health. Keanu didn't leave his side until everything was sorted. By morning, things had already begun to shift. Keanu's assistant, Marcus, had worked quickly. He had set up an appointment with a job placement service, specifically one that specialized in helping people re-enter the workforce after homelessness. Michael was nervous, but Keanu was there to reassure him. "This is just the first step. You've got this." Hours later, Michael stood in front of the hotel mirror, adjusting the simple but professional outfit Keanu had arranged for him. He took a deep breath and smiled, a real, genuine smile for the first time in what felt like years. Before leaving for the interview, Keanu approached him for a final goodbye. "Hey," he said, placing a hand on Michael's shoulder. "I want you to promise me something." "Anything," Michael said without hesitation. "When you get back on your feet, and you will, help someone else. Give back when you can. Michael's throat tightened with emotion. I will. I swear. Keanu smiled warmly. That's all I ask. With one final handshake, Keanu turned and walked out of the hotel, disappearing into the busy streets of Manhattan. No cameras, no press, just a man who had done what he believed was right, and left without expecting anything in return. Weeks passed, and things began to change for Michael. The job interview had gone well, better than he could have hoped for. He secured a position at a local community center, helping organize events and outreach programs. It wasn't just a job, it was a new sense of purpose. Keanu stayed in touch, quietly checking in every so often without drawing attention. And true to his promise, Michael began volunteering his time to help others experiencing homelessness, offering guidance, support, and most importantly, hope. Months later, Michael stood in front of a small crowd at a community event. He shared his story about loss, despair, and the incredible kindness of a stranger who had changed everything. You never know how much a single act of kindness can mean to someone, he told the audience. One moment of compassion can rewrite a person's entire future. And that brings us to the end of this story. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Remember, kindness doesn't cost anything, but its impact can last a lifetime. Thank you for watching.